Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I'm your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. Hey Metalheads, thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I'm your host, Mark Jackson. This week I have Andreas Magus on the show from Portland's own Bewitcher. We'll be hearing a new track from their upcoming release, Cursed Be Thy Kingdom. But before we get into that, I do have some follow-ups here from some questions I asked last week. I asked about coffee. Well, I had a few replies on that. Mike said that anything that the wife brings home is just fine. He just doesn't give a shit. He just drinks whatever. But Tim, he's like, decaf. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, to be fair, I've never really drank decaf coffee before. I mean, what's it like? I mean, I guess I just don't feel the whole caffeine effect. So, I mean, I guess it's like diet coffee. I mean, give me some clarification on that. Send me some more, if you're a decaf drinker out there, send me some more replies. I want to know, like, what's it do for you? You know, is it just like the drink? Is it just like the taste of coffee? What is it? Also, looking into the things of what people are looking forward to in 2021, other than live shows. Steve was saying that he's looking forward to the new Bewitcher album, which, ironically enough, they're on the show this week. And Tabitha says she can't wait until she receives the Oath vinyl that she pre-ordered back in, like, November. And you know what? I'm going to second that, because I can't wait for mine to come in, too. Hopefully, we're still getting it around May, like Steve says. So, hopefully. So, thanks to Mike, Tim, Steve, and Tabitha. I'll be getting with you all momentarily to send you all some sweet Metal Forge stuff, like maybe some patches, some stickers, you know. So, this week, I want to know, other than CDs and tapes and vinyl and stuff like that, what do you collect from bands? What's the one thing that you gotta go to a show and you can't leave without? Is it patches, stickers, pins, shirts? What is it? Let me know. Send it to metalforgeradio@gmail.com. And just, you know, say, hey, I gotta have this patch. I have the battle vest. I've gotta have the patches or the pins. Or I have to buy a shirt at every show I go to. Which, you know, I used to be that guy. And then bands stopped making shirts in my size. I'm sorry, that was probably pretty bad to say. But anyway, if I can't cut on myself, who can I cut on, right? Also, I do want to plug the website, metalforgeradio.com, because I've noticed over the last few months there have been a lot more views on there, and that is fucking awesome. So, I know you all see the social media posts, and I usually post those things about once a week to tell you who's going to be on the show that week. But if you go to the website, you will see that I have most of the month listed on there prior to. And just below that, there is a section on there to where you can click some question box. And you can ask questions to the upcoming guests. Like, had you known that Andreas was going to be on the show this week, you could have sent in some questions. And I did have some people do that. But, you know, looking forward into the next few months, you know, I post those things and say, hey, anybody wants to ask questions, send them to me. Send them to metalforgeradio@gmail.com. Get on the website, metalforgeradio.com, and do that. Send me some messages. So, let's thank the sponsors and the Patreon subscribers out there. You know, the Patreon subscribers, thank you so much. The money that you send to me, and it's not much, it builds up over time, and it does allow me to continue doing the show, along with the sponsors, Mom's Music, Maxwell's House of Music, Tattoo Charlie's, Better Days Records, The Wrestling Steve Show. Go out and purchase things from these places. Go get you some ink, go get you some gear, go get you some records, vinyl, CD, tapes, whatever you want to do. Get that stuff and help these businesses. You know, we're getting stimulus payments in again, help stimulate the economy, and, you know, but do it safe. Wear your masks, social distance, all that stuff. So, let's listen to some new Bewitcher. This is coming out on the new album, Cursed Be Thy Kingdom, on April the 16th. This is Valley of the Ravens. All right, Metalheads, I'm being joined on the line right now with Andreas from Bewitcher. Dude, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you for coming on the show. Longtime listener, admirer of the work. It's super fucking cool. For the people out there who don't know who you are, which I could almost believe that's hardly anybody in the metal community, tell everybody about some Bewitcher here.
Well, basically, Bewitcher is marriage, or began with the marriage of Motorhead and Venom. And we kind of sprinkled in some Maiden and some, Midnight and that kind of stuff in the beginning. And as the sound has progressed, we kind of basically we consider ourselves a heavy metal band now. We all grew up with the classics. I don't know. We're all old fucks now, so basically, we're all kind of stuck in the early 1980s with our listening, habits, and so that's the kind of band we wanted to be in. So yeah, I mean, if you like Motorhead, you like Venom, you like Iron Maiden, you like Judas Priest, you like early Metallica. I mean, I know I'm very, plebeian when it comes to my listening, but they all did it the best. So
right. And you got the Motorhead, you got the Venom, which super fucking cool. One of them I have a tattoo of. The other, Demolition Man, was on here back in October. So fuck yeah. I definitely dig the occult sound of everything as well. It seems like how 10 years ago or more at this point, 15 maybe years ago, you probably would have been considered an occult metal band, which now has shifted phase into this new wave of traditional heavy metal because it's a tag back to these Motorheads, Maidens, Priests, which is super cool.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, we definitely were when we started kind of talking about this type of band, we were definitely influenced and interested in that kind of late 2000s occult metal thing that was going on. Bands like The Devil's Blood and In Solitude and that whole kind of scene really kind of inspired us a lot. And we kind of wanted to, we've always had an interest in that. So we're like, well, let's take that inspiration and kind of add it to this love of just traditional heavy metal, traditional speed metal and that kind of thing. At the time, I mean, really nobody was doing except for maybe, Midnight or something like that. But even with Midnight, it was just, I think it was just fun, without taking itself too seriously, which is what makes them such a great band, But with us, we were like, well, we actually have interest in this, and we kind of wanted to explore that while keeping it, fucking heavy metal band, just something that you can rock to, and without overthinking.
Definitely, yeah. One of the other bands that I think I could relate to with that doing the same thing would be like a High Spirits or something.
Oh, yeah.
Looking here, you've got the full length. Self-titled, came out in 2016. You've got Under the Witching Cross, which was 2019. And here in just about a month, you have the new album coming out, which is Cursed Be Thy Kingdom.
Yep.
So what are we looking at that?
Basically, oh man, it's been such a wild ride with that record, but
right. I think it has for everybody over the last year.
Right. We started out as such a, kind of meat and potatoes speed metal band, just Venom, Motorhead worship. But, as we've grown, we've also kind of always had this like clear vision of wanting to broaden the sound and also just make a better record. And so with this one, really, we wanted sonically for it to be, just as good as it possibly can sound. I personally wanted it to sound like a record that would have been recorded in the early 80s, but with today's technology, with today's abilities and when it comes to mixing and mastering and all that kind of stuff. And so, you combine that with the songwriting, which was more of a, let's open up some chords and kind of let some choruses come through and just keep kind of pushing the boundaries of what Bewitcher is capable of. And also try to showcase just everyone's kind of talents. I mean, because Matt, our guitar player, is just, in my opinion, and I think one of the best up and coming shredders as far as just like a classically based heavy metal guitar player.
Definitely.
Compared to like a lot of the scene. And also just his writing and his phrasing and stuff just constantly kind of blows my mind. So let's showcase that. And then we've got this new drummer. So let's kind of let him kind of do his thing. And then, for me, it was really just a matter of like, I just wanted my bass to kind of sit in the mix and really just prop everything up,
For sure.
When you listen to it, just have it be massive, but where everything else kind of can do its thing, right? So this record is just a combination of all those things, and we just wanted something that took you on a journey and was fun, just a good like Satan worshiping heavy metal record,
Right. And there shouldn't be anything different than a good Satan worshiping heavy metal album.
It's all about, man.
Right. And sticking to the 3-piece motif in callback to the Motorhead and the Venom. For me, I agree with you because I'm in a 3-piece band myself. I'm always that guy who sits there and says, well, if the singer's not using a guitar, why is he there? Unless it's Ronnie James Dio.
Right.
And I'm
right,
not,
right.
and I will admit, in a lot of, in my personal, like circle of people, they know I'm not a huge Dio fan.
Oh no!
I mean, I respect him. I respect him as an artist. His backstage politics, not too crazy about personally. But yeah, unless you're him or maybe Bruce Dickinson, or Rob, right. why are you not playing a guitar?
It's funny because I feel like there's just these assumptions that, in heavy metal or rock that you need a 4 or 5 piece, right? You need 2 guitar players and you need the bass and the drums and well, you got this buddy who can kind of sing, so let's throw him out there as the front man. Which, kind of just assumption. I think that you need that's how bands should be. But really, for us, the best bands that always inspired us were 3 pieces. I'll always go back to Motorhead as like that catalyst for us, where it was like when we talked about forming this band, we kind of for a split second said, well, should we get another guitar player involved? And then right away it was like, fuck no, man. Like the best bands are already 3 pieces. So if they can do it, we can do it. And let's just keep it simple and use that inspiration to kind of, charge us. So I think, I don't know. I love the idea of being a 3-piece, it still gets brought up. Our songwriting is kind of evolved and we do a lot of layering and, on the record, we want to make the records as good as possible.
Right.
We definitely don't want to kind of fall short and be like, well, it's still a 3-piece. So when the solo comes, the guitars drop out and it's just the solo. Right. So we were like, well, fuck it. Who cares? Let's make the records as good as they possibly can be. And then when we play live, we're a 3-piece. That's the sound you're going to get,
Right. Absolutely. And that's where it comes into the idea of like, you can add bass effects. You can add a little bit of dirt to your bass in that particular moment to beef it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Same way for me. We layer everything as much as we can. And when the solo comes, there it is. But, I'm still plugging away on the bass myself. So I get it.
Yeah, as a bass player, that's basically my job is to be that second guitar player, essentially.
Right.
I write my bass lines so that they have a little bit of that kind of Lemmy flair with some walking parts here and there. But for the most part, I just kind of try to keep that kind of rhythm so that when we do perform live, you don't lose any of that weight when the guitar goes to like a solo or something like that.
For sure.
So it's like, yeah, definitely kind of find that balance between being a bass player, which, you lock in with the drums and do that whole business, but then also being that second guitar player,
Absolutely. And I think gear-wise, it makes a big difference. When you have a bass line that's, that's thundering, not necessarily like Geddy Lee has a thundering sound as well, but it's completely different than, a Lemmy thundering sound. That makes a big difference, I think. So gear-wise, what are you playing on right now?
Right now, I kind of went all modern. I finally got a hold of an 810, so I got the fridge finally, and that's mostly just for show because they look cool as fuck. As much of a pain in the ass as they are, you just can't beat that wall.
No, definitely not.
I got that, and then I've kind of gone through a million fucking heads, and none of them really have been able to deliver what I hear in my head until recently. I tried out one of those dark glass heads. I think it's the 900 V2.
Right on.
Solid state. They look like a little computer, but they sound incredible, and the tonal diversity that they give you is fucking insane. To really kind of, my only gripe about them is by themselves, they kind of lack in the bottom end department. You can tweak it and get close, but I find that running a Sansamp bass DI pedal, I basically just kind of set everything almost at noon and just kind of tweak it from there, just make little adjustments. But that's where the weight comes in.
For sure. Absolutely. With the Sansamp has been so fucking awesome for, these bass players. And actually I have a guitar player who uses one too. So
sure.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it has changed the game so much. I haven't even been bringing cabinets to shows because of it. Because I love the back end with the giant stacks and stuff. And but then again, as you stated before, we're old fucks, and and I really don't know if I want to keep carrying that shit to the show.
It's funny because I'm willing to do it just at this level, but I would love to get to that theater level where you can just DI straight in and just there you go. Just give me some monitor mix and just send it through the mains. and I'm golden. But like, if we're still playing, 100 cap bars or whatever, like, fuck it.
Yeah, it helps. You want them to feel it at that point.
Yeah, I mean, like that was what I was, when I was a kid growing up. I still love the fucking backline, man. Like I feel like technology has given all these kids these tiny little amps. I mean, we played a show on one of the last tours that we did for COVID, where this kid it was literally it was a computer running through an interface with a little 12 speaker on the bottom, and I was afraid he was gonna knock the whole fucking thing over. But I was like, bro, like, just get a cheap 412, man. You know what I mean? Like you just can't beat the look, like a wall of amps will always be cooler than fucking
just little
yeah
little tiny speaker. All right, we're gonna take a real quick break. We're gonna come back and talk about the new album again. Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge this week. I really appreciate every last one of you that listens. But before I go any further, I do want to tell you that we do have a Patreon page here. And there's 3 tiers. There's the down and dirty dollar tier. It's just $1. Hey, you're not going to miss $1. Nobody does. Then there's the $5 showstoppers tier, which you get a patch, stickers, whatever we have that's in that price range. And then there's the $20 a month master, where you can get a t-shirt, any size, any color of the Metal Forge logo. Fuck yeah, that's awesome stuff. Oh, and by the way, if you donate on there, guess what? You get the show 2 days in advance from everybody else. Thank you all so much. It's patreon.com/metalforgeradio. Check it out and donate today. I love you guys. Thank you.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called The Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is The Wrestling Steve Show. And I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
So coming back around to Cursed Be Thy Kingdom, looking at the artwork here, and it's really cool because there's a lot of earth tones. There's woman kind of decaying tied to a tree and a spirit with like a reaper coming out. There's a lot of earth tones and reds, like with an eclipse. So who did the artwork?
So we worked with this Italian painter. His name is Paolo Girardi. He's done, hundreds of album covers. He's worked with, he did Power Trips, two covers, I believe, like their 2 big releases. He's done a bunch of death metal, black metal, De Guile, bands like that. But we'd been following him for years, and we had actually considered him for the last record. And then, just fate worked out, and we ended up working with Marius Lewandowski for that one. But basically, we've been kind of the foundation of this record has all been around this myth of Robert Johnson and the whole devil at the crossroads, selling your soul for the music and all that kind of stuff. And so we wanted to try and capture that energy, but it took us like a year to kind of formulate this concept. We kind of kept kicking around all these different things. And so at the end of the day, we just kind of zeroed in on 4 or 5 key things from the album, like just from the songwriting, that we really wanted to kind of bring, visually to the artwork. And so, the single that really was released today, actually, Valley of the Ravens, is kind of the main inspiration. That's kind of the centerpiece. That's the witch tied to the funeral pyre, all burnt out and decayed and everything. And then the whole idea of the song is that at the end of the song, she is kind of released from the mortal, coil and is free now to kind of haunt the land. And so that's that imagery coming up the side is basically our unnamed, witch kind of
for sure
rising from the ashes and kind of like coming over the entire image, so that's kind of the main basis. But then from there, there's the crossroads, there's the eclipse sun, and all these images are directly pulled from
and
the lyrical.
The mountains in the background, and it's super. Now, do you all actually own the real copy of this?
Man, I wish, dude.
Yeah, that seems to be a heavy market when it comes to it, because like you can track this out, and then like to get the original that's like $5,000, and
I think he offered us, I can't remember what the number was. It was about the cost of actually making it, and we were like, well, we can afford for you to paint it right now, but I can't afford for the original, unfortunately. So
definitely. I think that's the ultimate sign of being a musician, when you can come up and have great album covers and have the originals.
Right? I mean, how cool is that,
For sure. Like if you had something done by like Ed Repka or something like that, and it's just like, holy shit. Or Jeff Gaither.
You mentioned Soul Grinder earlier, and April, actually, we worked with her. Yeah. She's done 3 or 4 designs for us, and it's funny because she has all the originals still. She's got them all hanging on her living room wall. She's got a little Bewitcher like altar. It's great, and I've considered asking her, to sell us, the original. I'm like, I kind of like the fact that she displays them in her home for herself. I think that's great. So,
well, yeah, it's a friend thing, and it's like, you guys have known each other for a long time. It seems like, because like I said, prior to starting recording here, they recommended that I hit you guys up. So it looks like here, kicking back a little bit in the scheme of things, it looks like y'all have come out with some EPs, and then after you did the EPs in 2013 and 2015, looks like you all released them as a compilation as Grand Rites of the Wicked.
Yeah.
Were those exclusive to cassette?
Yeah. We basically, because at that point we still hadn't done, there wasn't a proper CD release. Well, I take that back. There was I can remember now. I think Blasphemy got a CD release initially. Like all those early demos we kind of just partnered with all these crazy obscure tape labels from around the world and just said, all right, you do 50 of them over here and you do 50 of them over here, But when we got the offer to do the first full length with Diabolic Might, we were kind of like, well, fuck, man, we got all these demos. Let's just kind of put it all together and just do 100 of them, and let's make a cool little package. We did a little scroll in there, and there's some other goodies, and we put it in like a deluxe cassette package and everything. It wasn't even just a tiny little cassette. It was like this big, almost like the size of a DVD case.
Oh, okay.
And, you had to like special order them. I mean, we handmade everything. Like straight up just went to Kinko's and just printed the fucking inserts,
Oh, wow. Been there, done that.
Yeah. So it was super DIY. And we were kind of like, well, let's just make 100 of them. We'll hand number them and we'll sell them at some shows. And when they're gone, they're gone. And it'll never be done again kind of thing. So if you've got one of those 100, then, that's some cool heavy metal history right there.
For sure. It's interesting how packaging changes over time. Like, I just pulled this up, and this is, we're on video conference here, so I'm going to show you. I have a Saigon Kick long box here.
Yeah.
And it was like, I found it at a record store here about 2 months ago. They were going through their old stock in the back and had like a bunch of fucking long box stuff out there. And it's like,
that's cool.
That's going to be one of those things that like kids of today's generation will have no idea what a long box is. Oh,
it's funny you bring that up because I think I was on, just on some internet, metal news thing. And, I saw, I'm going to get a lot of grief for this, but I was reading an article on Rob Zombie and his new album that's coming out soon. Evidently they have a limited edition like long box.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, fuck, man, I want to do a long box. That's so fucking cool.
You're right. It is cool for the visual aspect because, it fits in line with like the vinyl size and everything for the height of it. But I thought it was absolutely hilarious how Lemmy talked so much shit about when they signed with it was the label in the 90s.
Was it SPV or was it a?
No, it was before SPV. It's the one that Sony owned, and I'm being an idiot and not being able to think of who it is.
Yeah, I couldn't.
But they released like 1916 and all that shit. And he was like, "It's such a fucking terrible design." He's like, "Why would anybody want to buy that shit?" So it's super great.
It's just us, uber like merch nerds who appreciate it. It's such a niche, because like
absolutely.
Nowadays kids, They're just,
Do you
they're
have
so,
it on-
it's just about streaming.
Do you have it in FLAC? Lossless audio? For sure.
What was it, mini disc? Was that another one?
My favorite is, out of the gimmicks, die cut CDs.
I've seen those. Yeah. I occasionally, my buddy of mine had a fucking a dissection one that was really cool. Yeah. It was from, oh fuck, was it I think it was like Somberlane maybe? No. It was like the single, it was Mahakali, the single from Rain Chaos, and it was like the shape of it was like the shape of the single or something like that. It was really fucking cool.
Wow. Dude, that sounds so cool.
That kind of stuff. I mean, I'd love to do that.
One of the ones the first ones that I ever saw was it was a rock and roll over design of like the Kiss logo where it's the four heads. Yeah. And I was like, how's that gonna fucking play in a car? That's the first thing I thought of, because it's like, you'd never be able to get it back out. And
you're definitely not feeding that into the car.
Oh, hell no. I mean, I think I speak for mostly everybody that's had one of those slot style car CD players where, I think everybody has them now, or did have, where it gets stuck in there and you have to use the butter knife to pull it out.
Oh man, I had a Bon Jovi CD that got stuck for years, and then it was like the Crossroads best of, and one day it just popped out for no reason at all. It was like in there for 2 years.
The car was tired of that shit.
Yeah, it was funny because I couldn't listen to anything else. I was like, well, I can't even listen to music in my car now, or else it's fucking Wanted Dead or Alive. You know what I mean?
Gosh, no.
And then it just boop. I was like, oh fuck.
That's grounds to selling. That's like a Geico commercial,
right?
Like where they have the house has rat problems. It's like your car has a Bon Jovi problem, and it's like you try to sell the car. John Bon Jovi is always in the back seat playing the fucking guitar. And it's
not even like 80s Jovi. It's fucking like 2000s Jovi.
Yeah, like Karen hair Bon Jovi.
Oh man, that's.
I'm glad we can talk about stuff like this, because everybody who listens to the show is going to be like, yeah, man, that's fucking right.
Hey, one guy will be like, hey, man, I like Bon Jovi. Fuck.
And for sure, the new album coming out April 16th, all your local places, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Obviously, you're going to have links below to be able to get the Century Media site and to get the new copy. You got a couple of different variants. You've got some pre-orders right now. You've got the red, like the red smoke vinyl, which I'm looking at this picture. It looks super fucking cool. Like, I love, like, it almost looks like an X-ray of an eye, where they do like the imaging where it looks like all the blood vessels. It
came out really cool. I always struggle with colored vinyl just because the obvious choices are always like, let's do gold, because gold always looks good, Let's do some crazy splatter and all this kind of shit. And, I lean away from like the neon colors and stuff because, we're not a tech death metal band. So,
right.
I always kind of feel like I'm like, fuck, I don't know, man. So I pretty much just asked the label, like, give me some suggestions, man. Like, what do you guys see? You guys do this all the time, And they came back with a handful of suggestions, and I was like, well, fuck, this red looks pretty sweet. Let's, I had my design guy kind of mock it up just because I wanted to see what it looked like, if you pull it out. I actually like to take that kind of time to make sure that it actually does look cool, Like, he just sent me some mock-ups, and I was like, fuck, there's not a ton of red in the artwork, but it just fits the artwork.
It really does. And I think it fits it because of the eclipse. And, because you've got a lot of earth tones in there. You got a lot of browns. You got a lot of, there's a lot of grays and stuff like that. And where you do have the red, like in the Death Shroud, in the eclipse, and then that smoke red vinyl. For the people out there listening, if smoke red is where it's going to be red based with some grayish blacks mixed in, but not like a splatter.
Yeah. Yep.
It just, for some reason, you know, it fits, like I said, the smoke that's on the cover, the red that's on the cover. It's, somebody was thinking about that one. They were looking at the continuity.
I love, you know, I like to take that kind of time, you know, the label, you know, of course we're doing a black, there's like just a traditional black. There's I think they're doing like Century Media exclusive, like clear vinyl with like black and gold splatter, which turned out really cool. Actually, I wasn't even thinking that way. And then when they sent me the mock-up, I was like, fuck yeah. And then what else are we doing? There's there's kind of like an earth tone green one that looks fucking really cool. There's a lilac one, which surprisingly turned out really rad.
Nice.
Like, there is this weird kind of hint of purple in the artwork. Again, it's a very colorful image, but it's all very subdued. It's not like in your face, you know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
there's just a lot of elements to it. So that lilac one, actually, I was like, fuck, man, this is like such a color I would not have thought of. But when you see it with the album, it looks really cool. So basically, they're kind of you know, doing these for different markets and stuff. So and a couple different stores in Europe actually specifically ordered like 200 copies for their store, which is really rad.
Wow,
so,
that's killer.
And there's like a cream white one as well. I can't remember who's got that one, but
you know, that seems to be a color that has come up a lot recently, where when everybody's doing these, you know, like Shadow Kingdom Records has that specific color that they do, like where it's like the dragon's breath and red. I've noticed a lot of like white pressed vinyl from quite a few bands. Like Bat has one.
Yep.
That's super fucking cool. And it's just like, you know, I was speaking with somebody at the record store at Better Days here in Louisville, and it was just like, it was mind-boggling to me because I actually think it was over the previous album. I think it was under the Witching Cross, where we were talking about, we were stocking the Blue Smoke variant of that. And it's just like, it seems like black is the rarity in a lot of these now.
You know, it's funny. As a collector, I prefer black, actually. I like to get like the 180 gram black one because it just feels it feels like quality. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just kind of, it goes back to marketing, you know, just trying to get people to kind of dig into vinyl again. And I do think that that's part of the appeal right now, is collecting all these different colors.
Right.
I mean, we've got a handful of fans. I get messages from a couple of guys who, every time we put something out, they order every single variant, you know.
Absolutely.
And then send me a picture of the whole collection, you know. It's fucking wild.
Oh yeah. And and it's a great market, you know, and you're right. It gets people back into vinyl, and it gets people reinvigorated to buy music in a physical form, not just on their phones or anything like that. Yeah,
I mean, that's, you know, that's the appeal of vinyl, I think. And I think that's the reason that it came back the way it did, because, you know, I mean, growing up in the day and age of CDs and cassettes, even for me, like, it was cool, you know, it was rad, but I distinctly remember, like, in the late 90s going to a record store in my hometown and, like, you know, they had like a small metal section and just finding all the stuff. And like, I had never really explored vinyl until that moment. I just found all these rad, you know, and that was still before really colored vinyl was a thing.
Right.
So just getting, you know, just seeing the size of it, because, you know, they're so big, and then some of them you got the gatefold, so there's just all this content. And I know it's cliched, but, you know, when you think back to the 70s when vinyl was still like relevant, like that was the whole point. It was like you just sat there and fucking with headphones and just stared at the album cover while listening to the music, you know, and you were just immersed in it. And so that's a huge like inspiration for us when it comes to like, you know, what we wanted to accomplish with the band. And when it comes to like the records and stuff, like I don't want to just put out like, here's the logo and here's this and here's the band information and like $20 for a vinyl. It's like, I want some kid who, you know,
you want to make it an experience.
Yeah. You know, just, I want some kid to sit there in his bedroom with his headphones on to just stare at this cover and just be listening to fucking, you know, Value the Ravens and being like, fuck. You know?
Absolutely.
Like,
no, I 100% agree with you on that. It's one of those things, like you said, you know, you're paying for the experience. It's almost like going to the, you know, the theater at that point. And I say the theater, and I mean that could be taken in any sort of, whether it's a play or a film or anything, because you're paying for the experience. For sure. Which is one of those things that I've always said in music. It's a 50-50. You know, you've got to have a part of a show and you've got to have performance. You know, you've got to have the music. And I don't think you can have one without the other. I mean, 5 dudes or 3 dudes, whatever, playing on a stage is one thing, but when you incorporate the experience into it, changes the game. Changes the game completely.
It's just so much cooler. You know what I mean? Like we've I mean, we grew up with, fucking Kiss, for example. You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, I know it's a cliche, but there's a reason that a band like Kiss is still fucking relevant, to some degree today, because it's a spectacle. It's a big fucking show. Like if you spend, 10, 15, 20 plus dollars on a ticket, fucking entertain me, man. Like I don't want to go to a show and just see a bunch of dudes and they just got off work working some kitchen job and they're all still wearing their work clothes and they just get up there and just stand in one place and headbang. Like I don't want that, man. I want fucking give me some lights and some fog, and if you can afford pyro, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Like become another person,
another person,
yeah, a character, and do something with it. Like to me, that's what it's all about. It's about creating this experience so that people, when they leave, they go, I forgot about all my bullshit, because we all have our bullshit, right?
Right.
Our nowadays even more so than ever, I believe. For that like 30 or 40 or 50 minutes that we're on stage, I want people to be completely immersed in this Bewitcher thing, so that when they go home, they're like, fuck, man, I totally forgot I got to work tomorrow, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I think that's and that totally goes into the vinyl, experience.
Oh, it absolutely does. The experience is there. All right, let's take a time out. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about you as a person, get into some general profile questions.
Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at TattooCharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait.
Hey, it's Mark Maxwell at Maxwell's House of Music. Listen, all this stuff is now available to purchase on our website. Check it out at maxwellshouseofmusic.com.
We carry all the top brands, like Fender.
We got Gibson.
We also have basses.
We've got ukuleles.
We got drums.
We've got sound gear.
We've got keyboards.
So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. I'm going to ask you some general questions about you as a person. And, as I've had to elaborate on over the last year of adding these questions in, about all of us being in this together, because, metal is such a tight-knit community that it seems like everybody knows everybody or of everybody. And I like to know what make people tick, personally. Who would be a dream musician you would either want to meet or work with?
Oh, man.
And you can do alive or dead.
Okay. Fuck. I feel like it's one of those conversations you have when you're drunk, and then you know what I mean. Like, you always know right away, and then as soon as you're put on the spot, you're just like, fuck.
Right.
You know what?
Who was your freebie? No.
I'm gonna go Randy. I'm gonna go Randy Rhoads.
Nice.
Because Ozzy, those first two Ozzy records to me are still an endless source of inspiration. If I ever kind of find myself in a rut, I can put on either one of those, and I immediately am re-energized and amped up again. And there's just something about his songwriting, and I feel that because it is only the two records that
it left you wanting more.
Oh my God, that feeling is just like bottomless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
He could have done so much. Fuck.
and I'm that dick that says it has to be the original copies. It can't be. It cannot be the remastered editions with Rob Trujillo and Mike Borden.
Yeah, Mike Borden.
It can't be those. It has to be Bob Daisley.
I've got both, I'm not gonna lie. I like them both. But I will. I mean, dude, if you're gonna, you don't even need to put a gun to my head. Of course, I'm gonna go with the original.
Of course. Well, yeah, for sure. What was your favorite TV show growing up?
Oh man, first one that I remember really being into would be Airwolf, and then I'm gonna go MacGyver, just because I spent years after school while watching MacGyver with my buddy, just probably 4 years straight. That's
trying to figure out how he made an explosive device out of a paper clip and a stick of gum.
Yep, and a little duct tape,
For sure. If you followed your dreams as a child, what would you currently be doing?
Oh man, I would be a cartoonist for Disney.
Wow, that took a turn. Well,
that was my first passion. Yeah, I was like drawing, and I just loved cartoons. And like, you know, I remember seeing a documentary about, like, I think my parents took me to Disney World, and I saw some documentary about like the artist, you know. And I think we saw them working. I can't remember even what movie it was, but they were actually in the room, and you could see them just with these sheets. I remember just saying that was just the coolest thing. When I was like,
and they're pulling the cellophane up to make sure it's matching everything that's in the frame before. Yeah, I've seen that same thing. It's crazy.
That was super cool. And so, yeah, I was an artist up until I discovered heavy metal and guitar, you know.
Nice. What is your most unpopular music opinion?
That Lars is right. I'm a huge Lars fan.
But what is he right about? Is he right about the shift of Metallica in 1990, or the St. Anger drumming?
Well, all right. Let's just ignore the St. Anger drumming thing for a second. No, I think he gets way too much grief for Napster. I think history has proven that they were right, and you know, because at the time, like,
it was unregulated.
Exactly. And they were going, hey, we need to figure this out. These bands are not getting paid. And neither, you know, and of course they're using themselves as an example. And everyone's like, well, fuck you, you're already making millions. And it's like, they were like, yeah, we know. But it's also the guy at home who's trying to be in a metal band. What about him, you know? Right. So I think, and I still talk to people today. I'll talk to kids who are 20 years old, and they're like, fuck Lars, man. It should have been Lars. And I'm like, why? Explain your argument. And none of them, they don't have an argument. It's just, well, fuck Lars. I'm like, no, man, no Metallica, no Lars, dude. No Lars, no Metallica.
Right. And a lot of people don't realize that that's the truth. That, you know, if Lars was gone, you know, it wouldn't have survived with just James, and, you know.
Fuck no, Lars. I mean, like
Lars
James
is the businessman behind all of that.
Well, and Lars was the arranger. You know, James came in with all these great fucking riffs, and Lars the guy going, all right, let's do this and this and this and this and this, and that's what made those songs fucking awesome. You know,
for sure.
So, anyways, I can go on. I'll defend Lars to the end.
I agree with you on that. And like I said before, it's unregulated. It's not as great as regulation now. It still needs amending. But it has the potential it's still not there, but it has the potential of being great.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to
come a long way. So,
for sure.
Hopefully.
What is something you've always wanted to do, but you're not coordinated enough to do?
Ooh, coordinated, huh? Fuck. You know what? This is kind of a twofold. I would say ride motorcycles. But I did actually face that fear recently and took my rider's course here in Oregon in the middle of fucking December, which was a fucking horrible idea. But because it was rain or shine, and unfortunately it was rain in December in Oregon, which sucks. But I've definitely found that this you know, fucking riding a Harley across the country dream that I'd had in my head was I was grounded and brought back to reality very fast as soon as I got on a motorcycle for real and realized, you know, the actual
power,
you know, the coordination that is required, you know, to actually ride a motorcycle, and the idea of then taking said motorcycle into the street and being next to trucks and cars and everything scared the shit out.
I have no idea that you're there.
Yep. So, I mean, I've kind of faced it a little bit. I've got a little bit of knowledge now, but I'm still kind of like, okay, I think we'll revisit that dream down the road.
Right. What is your most cringeworthy moment on stage?
Oh, fuck. I think, if I remember right, it was, I'm going to go with, we were in Germany playing this really small, like, venue. It's actually like a record store. And what they do is they kind of just have this stage in the middle. And you can only get about 50 people in there. It's super small.
But it sounds like such an awesome idea.
It's a really cool place. Yeah, it's MTS Records. I can't remember the town right now, but it's a really cool place. Anyways, we were doing laundry that day, and because we had the day off prior, and I remember I was fucking out of underwear, and I was just like, well, fuck, I'll just fucking rock it. You know, no boxers, no briefs, right? And I decided to buy these new fucking, like, you know, ripped up fucking jeans, and they didn't have a zipper. They had like the buttons, right?
Oh shit.
which I'm not a huge fan of anyways. And so I'm playing, and all of a sudden I'm just kind of, you just get that feeling, it just kind of goes off in the middle of your head. You go, dude, are those buttons like actually buttoned right now? And I remember like just, I kind of just kept playing, and I've got a couple times where I put bring the bass up like this and put it down again. And I was just like, dude, is my fucking dick just like hanging out right now? And so finally we get to a point in this show where I can kind of turn around and just do a quick little like check. And I'm like, oh God, thank God we're good. Like it's all buttoned up. We're all good. But for about 3 songs, I was like, oh fuck, Am
I flashing the front row of these people?
And I mean, and it's like literally there's no barricade. There's no barrier. You're playing 1 foot in front of these people. You know what I mean?
Right. And you're playing on the floor most likely. For sure.
So it could have ended a lot worse, but I'm going to say that was probably my personal. I was pretty freaked out at the time.
Definitely. Who do you lean on outside of the band for your objective opinion?
I got an old school buddy of mine actually who I've known since I was in the 5th grade. Who we actually played in bands for many years, and still to this day, we probably talk a couple times a week, but I'll totally, like, if I got some shit or, even band stuff or whatever, life stuff, like, definitely hit him up anytime. He went down kind of a hard road and with alcoholism and stuff. And so he's cleaned up and he's proven to be an incredible source of just like knowledge. And, he's like, I've done it all wrong. So
for sure
he can kind of help set me straight if I need to be set straight, and he'll always tell me the truth, no matter how, bullshit my ideas are.
Your reasoning, you're like, yeah, but if I do it this way, no, motherfucker, do it like this.
No, man, no, dude.
Worst album by your favorite band?
Fuck. Oh, man. All right.
Is that For Unlawful? Oh, wait, no. Van Halen.
Honestly, one of my all-time favorite bands is actually Machine Head. I love Machine Head. Like, I've definitely one of my guilty pleasures. I grew up with that band. I'm like still to this day fucking love that band. But I hate to say it, man.
Been in so many cool things.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. They've just done so much good stuff over the years. And again, I know it's definitely not like it's not Bewitcher and whatever, but I love that band. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. But I'm gonna go. There's kind of a tie between the Burning Red and Supercharger. Like that era. Like, obviously, the first 2 records are fucking amazing, just instrumental, groundbreaking 90s metal records. And then I feel like they kind of found themselves again later in life. But at that time, I remember trying to force myself to really like those records. Like,
right.
When you're like something and you listen to it, going, yeah, this is all right. This is pretty cool. I like this song. And then you come back, you're like, no, this is actually not that good at all.
Right. I think it's definitely the sign of the times. I think, equating it to what Kirk said in the Some Kind of Monster documentary, he's like, if we don't put a solo, it's dating it to this time now in music. So, and I think a lot of bands did that, where they dated themselves to the market then, where they went and changed and did everything a little bit different.
It's a prime example of a band that's kind of still trying to, they're trying to reinvent their identity, and I feel like they lose their identity and then listen to the label, which is never a good idea,
Yes. Yeah.
Label's going, well, dude, man, you fucking do blonde spikes. Everyone's doing that. And they're like, that's a good idea. We should do that.
And then you look like Dexter from Offspring, which I don't. Hey, I'm not hating on Offspring. They definitely got some stuff that I like, but I don't want to look like him.
Let's just admit, the late 90s, early 2000s, fashion, sense, and heavy metal wasn't that great.
No, definitely not. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh man, I think just thinking of like my coworkers here. I think it's just creating drama out of thin air. You know what I mean? Like people who like kind of thrive on just creating that stupid fucking chaos, and you're just like, dude, why? You know what I mean? Like, this is so easy. Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure. I can agree with that, because it's like, I have multiple people. I think everybody has multiple people in their lives that do that shit. And it is bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. Any shout outs you want to give before we go today?
Well, I guess I'll just just straight up just check out the record. April 16th, coming out in about a month. I don't know, we're really excited about it, man. I think without question, it's the best thing we've ever done, and we're super proud of it. And And I mean, really everyone who's helped us with it this far. I mean, from the label to we've been fortunate to work with some really cool people. So,
Definitely. And you can listen to the label about that stuff, but not how to dress.
Yes. And a lot of other things about it. But no, they've been great, man. The label's been fucking super supportive and really behind it, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I mean, being able to work with Cameron Webb,
of course, of Motorhead and so many other fucking awesome projects. And,
yeah.
And
dude is legend, really, and super cool to work with, just super chill, yeah.
For sure. And the interesting thing about Cameron Webb is I think he understood Motorhead in the later years more.
I think so.
Because it seems like the albums that he really dove in and worked on were some of their greatest albums later in life kind of stuff. Motorizer, Inferno.
Honestly, the last probably 5 or 6 records are fucking great, man. I mean, obviously, Ace of Spades isn't on it, so all the diehards are like,
right.
But,
I know.
If you listen to the production between the early shit. I mean, as classic as it is, his stuff is fucking. It made them sound great.
Oh, absolutely, and a lot of people would probably sit there and be like, "No," but hey, I have it on good authority. I've seen it on video where Lemmy did not cut those tracks on an amplifier. He cut it on the head, but that was it. And they used the reactive load on it, where no, it was just a cab sim.
Yeah, I believe that.
And
I believe that.
Hey, and his cabinet was always legendary. The 415s and.
Well, that's the thing about bass, man. Is making bass sound good live is one thing. Making bass sound good on a record,
that's something different.
Requires a lot of fucking talent.
Oh, for sure. And as always, links below. You can check out Bewitcher and how to purchase the albums and how you can pre-order the albums and so on and so forth. Final question. What album changed your life?
Without question, Blizzard of Oz. I was already into heavy metal at that point. Me and my buddies were just obsessed with Warrant and we were just discovering Metallica and all this kind of stuff. This is the early 90s. And my parents got me Blizzard of Oz for Christmas, and that was it, man. I was I want nothing else in life but to fucking do this. So that was it.
Fucking right, man. Dude, that's awesome. Across the nation right now, because, I'm in the Louisville, Kentucky area. You're in the Portland area. It's interesting, how whatever band Ozzy has been in has influenced so many people. I get you 100%. Blizzard of Oz, even into the Black Sabbath stuff. That's where I hit it first, and it's fucking right.
Yeah,
it's definitely influential for sure. Andreas, thank you so much for coming on the show this week. So from Under the Witching Cross, what do you want me to play out today?
Oh, man. I would say, dude, fucking crank Too Fast for the Flames. It's definitely one of our anthems.
Hell yeah, you heard him.